Welcome, folks. Thrive East Bay, our monthly gathering. And we are so excited to welcome all of our family back. And we are especially excited if you are here for the first time, because we are ever expanding our circles, our family. We are in a process of evolution, and that means welcoming you in. So thank you everybody for showing up. My name is Annalise, and I have the privilege and pleasure of co-hosting with the beloved Aria Shell.
Hello everyone, it's so good to be here with you all, with Auntie Annalise. My name is Aria. I'm a co-founding member of Thrive East Bay, and just happy May Day this weekend. Happy International Workers Day. Just want to lift up all of our workers and just all of the labor, seen and unseen, to grow our food, to take care of our bodies and our people, and all the work that we're all doing to build a more regenerative economy and a more just world. So just really delighted to be here with you.
Mm-hmm. And we, in extending that welcome, want to do a formal land acknowledgement. We are on Ohlone land. The Chochenyo speaking people resided here prior to us, and we acknowledge that because we are rewriting that narrative. And we know that this whole theme today, the idea that we are all about getting free together, because none of us are until all of us are, this is a vital piece of that message, the land and labor acknowledgement. So thank you, everyone. We have in the website, in the chat, a website that will allow you to figure out what land you are on. If you don't already know, I want to encourage you to do that and to start making that a part of your gatherings so that we can all start rewriting this story together. I think that it's now time for us to take a moment to ground. We traditionally do a 2-minute silent meditation, and so we will enter into that now. Thank you for your time and attention. It is now my great privilege to introduce our first musical guest, Austin Willacy, who is co-artistic director of the Thrive Choir, and we cannot wait to get that choir back into operation. But meanwhile, we have Austin, who is going to represent. He's a veteran member of the House Jack, which is an a cappella group with which he has produced 10 full-length albums and completed multiple world tours. For the last 23 years, he's also directed a group called Till Dawn Youth and Arts Teen, which is another a cappella group that empowers youth to find their voices in many ways. Austin is a jewel and a gem, and one of my personal favorites. It's a delight to introduce him. So here he is, Austin Will.
Thank you so much, Annalise. And welcome everyone. It's a real honor and a privilege to be here sharing some music with you by way of opening this space for collaboration. This song that I would like to play is a song called Open Up Your Heart. It's a song that I wrote a little while ago that basically just speaks to the fact that in order for me to open my heart, I have to face the both end. I have to deal with the both end. I have to deal with the light and I have to deal with the dark. I have to deal with fear and dreams, and I have to deal with laughter and pain, and I have to deal with anger and love. And it's work that I'll have to do. That all of that work is work that I have to do. It is an invitation and a reminder and a mantra. So feel free to sing along if you don't. If you don't know it, don't sing along. But if you do know it, do sing along. And if you don't know it and want to sing along, you can because you're on Zoom. Just do it on mute and everything's good. It goes like this. There are moments in your life everybody says you're right, when the only thing to do is to divine your inner truth. So open up your heart and let your fear come out, 'cause that's the only way to heal it. Ooh, open up your heart and let your dreams come out, 'cause that's the only way. There are those who make demands with empty hearts and open hands. There are those who never try, never argue, never cry. Oh, so open up your heart and let your pain come out, 'cause that's the only way to heal it. Ooh, open up your heart and let your laughter out, 'cause that's the only way. Places we won't go, many things we'll never know. There are many lonely roads walked by those with heavy souls. Oh, so open up your heart and let your anger out, 'cause that's the only way to heal it. Ooh, so open up your heart and let your love come out, 'cause that's the only way to heal it, yeah, to heal it. To heal
thank you, thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
And in fact, opening up our hearts, that is the only way to heal it. Truer words never spoken, Austin. Thank you so much. Our theme today is let's get free, y'all. Let's get free. And while we are really happy about some of the things that are happening on the macro level, we also celebrate the micro level, the each one teach one. And that's part of why we come together the first Sunday of every month so that we can be free. We can be free with each other. We can be free to imagine this new world that we are in the process of co-creating. So I want to talk a little bit about Thrive, which is an organization that brings all of us together at the intersection of arts and meaning and culture. And we have four actually, guiding and unifying principles. We believe in thriving lives. We believe that everybody should have not only the opportunity, but the resources to thrive. We believe that life is good, but that we need to have systemic change. Aria, I'm blanking. Love in action, that's the other one. We believe in love in action. We believe in shared learning and practice, and we believe we have to uproot some of these poisons, some of these toxins, some of these ideologies that have kept us bound. So there we go. Would you like to add anything, Aria?
I think you have said it, but I just want to also say that we are a living laboratory of love, that we are a community of practice, and that we really come together to build these networks and these webs of relationship and belonging and connection and care, and to support each other to thrive in these difficult times. So glad that we're doing it together. It's really the only way. Are you kicking it off to me, Annalise?
Yep, I am.
All right. Well, I am so delighted to introduce and welcome back Santos Soul to the Thrive East Bay community. Brother Santos is a force of nature, a force of love, who brings healing and liberation and justice through his music. He's a soul singer and songwriter, a Tai Chi Sifu instructor and edutainer, raised in the Far East and cultivated in the Carolinas, recently relocating to the East Bay. So we are super excited. Santos has been performing and organizing nationally and internationally for the past 15 years, and deeply driven by his ancestors. His personal mission statement is, "I'm changing the world by changing me." Oh, Santos, thank you for bringing your medicine to us. Santos currently teaches weekly Tai Chi and Qigong classes while collaborating in an upcoming release. Well, it says here later in 2020, so this might be outdated. Maybe you can fill us in, Santos, on where that stands. And extremely grateful to be back and based in the Bay Area, thriving, healing, and inspired by the resiliency of Oakland and the legacy of the Black Panthers. Santos, thank you for being with us, and just gonna hand it off to you to take us on a journey.
I really appreciate that. Peace, peace, peace. How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling? Generate some energy. Let me see some energy. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Just want to invite everyone to take a big inhale of life. Just bringing your hands up over your head. And exhale, just let it float down as if you were clearing and resetting your whole entire being from your crown all the way through the soles of your feet. One more time, big, big inhale, big, 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 big. And exhale. And one last time, third's the charm. Big inhale. And exhale. So, you know, in thinking about freedom, individual freedom and collective freedom, we got to be well. We got to be well in our mental and emotional health, as well as our physical health. You know, that's a foundation of getting free. But I'm super excited to be here and to share with you all. And you might know this chorus. So I'm going to invite you to stomp, to clap. Go ahead, practice your clap. Practice your stomp. Just. All right, so you'll know this one. Yeah, I was just learning that Ray Charles was one of the ones to first record this song. None of us are free. None of us are free. None of us are free if one of us is chained, and none of us are free. Let me hear you. None of us are free. None of us are free. None of us are free if one of us is chained, and none of us are free. I don't see your lips moving. Where you at? None of us are free. None of us are free. None of us are free if one of us is chained, and none of us are free. Hum it. One more time, sing it out. None of us are free. None of us are free. Say it like you mean it. None of us are free. One of us is chained, and none of us are free. With everything you got, with everything you got. None of us are free if one of us is chained, and none of us are free.
Can we all just come off a mute for a minute and give Santos some love? Because that was so deep. Come on off a mute, y'all. Just like give some props. Woo woo! Woo! Woo, 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 woo.
Oh, brother's gonna work it out. Brother's gonna work it out. Brother's gonna work it all out, yeah. Oh, sister's gonna work it out. Sister's gonna work it out. Sister's gonna work it all out, yeah. Oh, family gonna work it out. Family gonna work it out. Family gonna work it all out. Community gonna work it out. Community work it out. Community work it all out. Oh, now don't give me no peace sign if you don't mean it from your heart. United we can get over, but yet we're still apart. Now each man deserves respect, but until you've given them that, there'll be no peace. No, no. Oh, so brother's gonna work it out. Brother's gonna work it out. Brother's gonna work it all out. Yeah. And sister's gonna work it out. Sister's gonna work it out. Sister's gonna work it all out. Family's gonna work it out. Family gonna work it out. Family gonna work it all out. Community gonna work it out. Community work it all out. Common unity, community, the space between you and me. The fibers of my irises, the same to make your heart beat. So see, we should love we. Separation due to ego molecules, time, space, perception of this reality. Agree to disagree synergistically and fight back. Corporate attack on our humanity. Be naturally, simply by breathing. Mother Earth just wants to hold you, play in her apothecary. We need true soldiers to stand in solidarity, man. It amazes me. Consumption, what's your function? Keeping us addicted, creating fear of abundance. I am because you are. I am because we are. I am because we are. Oh, brother's gonna work it out. Brother's gonna work it out. Brother's gonna work it all out. And sister's gonna work it out. Yeah. Sister's gonna work it all out. And family gonna work it out. Family gonna work it out. Family gonna work it all out. Community's gonna work it out. Common unity. The space between you and me is our community. Just expressing these ideas as they come through on how we gonna get free, how we gonna stay free, how we going to thrive in freedom consistently and constantly. And one way I know that I am going to continue to invoke freedom and invite you all to is with our ancestors. Honoring our mother and our mother's mother and our mother's 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 mother as we move into this kind of ceremonious season of Mother's Day and Father's Day. But every day that we are alive, we are carrying that legacy of our mothers and our fathers, for better or for worse, you know. But we have to shift and heal that narrative to show up with as much in our cup to pour into our collective liberation. And so with that, how many people love your mama? Where you at? Where you at? Now, how many people love your daddy? The Babas. All right, all right. And so this is a song honoring your mother, and your father, and ancestors. Real simple, calling on our ancestors. This is for our ancestors. We need your voice. There'll be a time when I offer you the opportunity to just name anyone that you want to name in the collective and or from your own personal lineage. And I just, you know, strongly encourage you to just think of those loved ones that have transitioned and bring them into the space with you, whether you want to type their name in the chat or just speak their name in your space and or speak their name off of mute. So here we go. Boom, boom, boom. Calling on our ancestors. This is for our ancestors. Calling on our ancestors. Cause we need your voice in this great time of shifting. Can we regain our connection? That energy, go back to go forward, go back to move ahead. Calling on our ancestors. Where you at? Where you at? This is for our ancestors. Calling on our ancestors. Cause we need your voice. That connection, that grandmama smile, that story about back in the day, oh, from your grandpa, your aunties, your cousins, everyone in your family tree. Oh, they're all right here beside you. From the leaves to the branches, down to the roots, oh, it's all in you, calling on our ancestors, ancestors. This is for our ancestors, ancestors. Calling on our ancestors, ancestors. Cause we need your voice. We give thanks to those that sowed so that we could reap, those who dug the well so that we could drink. We know that we can see far into the cosmos, across all time, for we stand on the shoulders of giants. So in the legacy of excellence of Sam Cooke, Marvin Gaye, Nina Simone, Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, Mansa Musa, Zumbi Dos Palmares, El Haj Malik Shabazz, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Sr., Patrice Lumumba, Fred Hampton, Harriet Tubman, Maya Angelou, and so many others whose names we may have lost, but whose energy and contribution will never be forgotten. And now for you, who's in your line that you'd like to lift up, or in the collective that you'd like to bring present as we celebrate our collective liberation? We say Ashe, we say Aho. We say Amen, Amen, and all the ways that we can acknowledge and affirm life. And we send a special intention and energy towards all those that have transitioned during this pandemic, and to all those who have senselessly transitioned due to misunderstanding, hatred, and cowardice. As we stand in solidarity with Asian Pacific Islanders, Black and brown lives, and all humanity, we call forth our healers, our most healed and bright and shining ancestors. We're calling you in. We're calling you in. We're calling you in. We're calling you in. Hear rhythm in the door, don't buy, I go. Are you listening? Hear rhythm in the song, buy, I go. Are you listening? Hear rhythm in the kinkini, I go. Are you listening? Hear rhythm in the djembe, 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 djembe. Hey, talk to us on those 808s. Talk to us on those MPCs. Talk to us on those MP3s. We need you to ride this beat, please. Calling on our ancestors, ancestors. Help me out. This is for our ancestors, ancestors. Calling on our ancestors, ancestors. Cause we need your voice. Help me out one last time. This is for our ancestors, ancestors. Calling on our ancestors, ancestors. Calling on our ancestors, ancestors. Cause we need your voice. Let's celebrate our freedom and stay free. Really appreciate the opportunity. Peace, power, and love.
Now y'all can come off of mute and give some love to Santos.
Hey.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. So beautiful.
Yay.
Thank you, brother.
Santos.
I know you love.
Thank you.
Brother Santos, we actually have like another 4 minutes. Do you have like one more song in you? Please.
Okay, well, okay. Negotiation here, teamwork. So I'm gonna sing a little bit of Changing the World by Changing Me. It's my mantra. It's the space that I always strive to hold in community and in every facet of my life. And so I just would like anyone to share in the chat one way you are committed to changing your world. Your world. That's the world that you wake up and you see, the people that you see and share with. One way you are committed. You're not going to get it all tonight, not going to get it all tomorrow. One way you're committed to changing your world. I'm changing the world by changing me. 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 I can't change nobody, gotta start with me. I'm staying sucker free, no haters, no negativity. Can't tax me, I'm living soul free. I'm changing the world by changing me. I can't change nobody, gotta start with me. I'm staying sucker free, no haters, no negativity. What's inside of you, how's it gonna be? Choose. How you gonna stay free? How you gonna honor your ancestral legacy? Thrive, we healing and building community. It's a Sunday to invoke change in our personal lives and radiate it out into community. I'm a reflection of you, you're a reflection of me. Many hands make light work. When you shift, well, I can shift too. My liberation is mutually connected to you. This is not perfection, we're just making some progress. Can you walk with me so we can all be free and say, I'm changing the world by changing me. 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 I can't change nobody, got to start with me. Staying sucker free, no haters, no negativity. Can't tax me, I'm living so free. Changing the world by changing me. Can't change nobody, gotta start with me. Staying sucker free, no haters, no negativity. I'm gonna stop 1 minute early so we can read some of the ways we're committed to changing. How about that? This is community space. I'm changing the world by changing me. So what's popping in the chat? What's popping in the chat?
So many beautiful commitments to shaping change in our lives, to share authentically, to working through conflicts as they come, to share garden veggies, to self-forgiveness through divine's grace, to generosity and clear communication, to a mother's legacy of singing and healing, to loving and seeing the wholeness inside of each person, committed to letting go of judgment, to kindness and truth in our speech, to taking conflict head on, to being love and building beloved community, to continue to learn to return, to open-hearted awareness, and then to train to remain. There's more there. Healing the legacy of my fathers in my life and with my daughters. Committing to unearthing divine masculine and celebrating the divine feminine. To living in love and mutual support. To listening well. To learning the truth, being honest and working to learn from every true thing. And to hosting space for myself and others to unravel and reweave ourselves, committed to our liberation. We are beautiful together. And Santos, thank you for your beautiful medicine, for the collective breaths, for reminding us that wellness is a foundation to our freedom, for calling in the ancestors, for evoking and deepening our commitments to change and transformation, to evoking Grace Lee Boggs, our beautiful ancestor who taught us to transform ourselves, to transform the world. And just for being who you are. Thank you. for bringing it.
Thank y'all.
Whew. Let's just all take a deep breath and just savor all of the feelings that Santos has evoked in our bodies and hearts. Letting the harmony, the vibrations settle into our tissues, into our bones, into our breath. Thank you, Santos. And I am so honored and excited to introduce my beloved sister, Shilpa. Oh my God. Shilpa is the embodiment of love. Shilpa creates the conditions for people to bring their full, authentic selves into the room because of the unconditional love that you inhabit in the container that you create when you convene people together. You bring such compassion and clear seeing and attunement, and you help us to learn how to attune to ourselves and to each other with such grace and forgiveness and care. And I'm so excited to hear from you, to learn with you, to just be in this world with you. So I am going to give a more formal introduction. Shilpa Jain is a facilitator, community builder, conflict mediator, and practitioner of transformative learning. She is currently rooting herself in Oakland in Berkeley, California, where she serves as the executive director of Yes, an organization that works with social change makers at the meeting point of internal, interpersonal, and systemic change, and aims to co-create a thriving, just, and regenerative way of life for all of us. Prior to this role, Shilpa spent 2 years as the education and outreach coordinator of Other Worlds and 10 years as a learning activist with Shikshantar. Am I saying it right?
Shikshantar.
Shikshantar, the People's Institute for Rethinking Education and Development, based in Udaipur, India, where she served as coordinator of the Swapatgami network, Walkouts, Walk-Ons. And Shilpa has literally all facilitated more than dozens, I think hundreds of transformative leadership gatherings in India, Jordan, Senegal, Lebanon, Egypt, Thailand, Canada, Peru, Pakistan. I mean, just all over 80 countries. So she's been spreading the love and dropping the seeds using very simple human technologies like listening, speaking from the heart, slowing down, breathing, and connecting to nature. So all of her work is in service to freedom, to freeing us from dominating soul-crushing institutions and to live in greater alignment with our hearts and deeper values. And it's just such a deep honor to hand it over to you, my friend.
Oh, thank you so much, Arya. I feel like choked up from the introduction. Okay, first I have to change the view because I can't look at myself and talk with you all. Thank you so much. Santos, thank you so much for those incredible musical and emotional and spiritual energies that you just brought and gifted so beautifully into our container and building this container with us. And thank you, Arya and Annalise, for hosting us in this beautiful way. And Austin, my love, thank you so much for your song, Welcome, which just always makes me feel like I can open up my heart and be in my heart with all of you. And thank you, all of you, for being here. It's such a gift to be with you. I'm so excited to explore co-liberation with you today. I'm so excited to talk about what it means to get free together, and the beingness of that and the doingness of that. What does it take from each one of us? What does it invite? What does it invoke from each one of us? And how do we do it together? And so I really want to just start first with connection, because connection is the heart of co-liberation. So wherever you are, if you feel comfortable, this I know is going to help me land and arrive a little more. I just invite you to close your eyes or take a moment off the screen and just take a moment to connect in with your own body. The first point of connection, if you want to close your eyes, you can take a few breaths, connecting into your body, into your own breath, into this beingness that you are. And I want to remind you and myself that my soul came here for a purpose. It's here in this body. It chose this body. And this is a gift. And so inviting that and inviting a connection to the land where you are, many different places that folks are tuning in from, wherever you're tuning in from. Just feeling that connection in your body to the land, the place that you are, the earth there, the trees, the animal beings and bird beings and insect beings and all the beings that are part of that beautiful land that you're on. And a connection to all of the beautiful beings who have helped to steward that land, past, present, and future, the peoples of that land, here where I am, the Ohlone people, and the people who are here today, continuing to also steward the Ohlone people and others who've joined them to steward. And so much gratitude for that connection, that we may even be on this land in this time. And a deep, deep feeling that web of connection outward from the land where you are to all the webs of connection you have, your biological family, your chosen family, your friends, your colleagues, all of those webs of connection that sustain you and support you, that you nourish and you nurture with your being. And all of the webs of connection beyond those ones, the ones that sustain all of those lives, and so on and so on. We're covering the whole planet, and then all the planets and all the cosmos, and all of that connection that nourishes us and feeds us, and that we nourish and we feed. And just taking a moment to really feel the fullness of that connection. And as Santos mentioned so beautifully, like, we get free together. And these connections, they are what nourish us to get there, and also what we feed into. And I feel like what I always do is return to those connections to remind me there's so much support for me. There's so much support for each one of us. There's so much support in our world. So a breath into all of those connections. And I know we're here in this time to tell a new story, to restore and to restory. To restory ourselves from separation into connection. To restore ourselves from division into wholeness. To restore ourselves from individualism to collective wisdom. And this restoring means it's the both and. It's the time to both dive in, to be together, and it's also this time for this deep inner work that's happening. And we do it together. We are wiser together. We come together for that. And so I'm so excited today to speak with you and explore with you all of that, what it looks like to restory together. What does it look like to build bridges? And how can conflicts actually be a portal to our co-liberation? How can we actually see the places that maybe are the places of pain or disconnection as opportunities and places to go forward and go into for greater co-liberation? I'm going to start us off actually also with a little poem. So if you want to keep your eyes closed, you're super welcome to do that. I'm going to share this poem with you that I came across with kind of early in the pandemic, but it just keeps speaking to me over and over again. And it's from Sally Atkins. Tell me, she said. Tell me, she said. What song? Tell me, she said. What is the story you are telling? What wild song is singing itself through you? Listen. In the silence between, there is music. In the spaces between, there is story. It is the song you are living now. It is the story of the place where you are. It contains the shapes of these old mountains, the green of the rhododendron leaves. It is happening right now in your breath, in your heartbeat still, drumming the deeper rhythm beneath your cracking words. It matters what you did this morning and last Saturday night and last year, not because you are important, but because you are in it and it is still moving. We are all in this story together. Listen. In the silence between there is music. In the spaces between there is story. Pay attention. We are listening each other into being. We are listening each other into being. And that for me is what co-liberation is really all about. How can I listen you into being? How can you listen me into being? How can we listen the world that we want to see into being and be with that with each other? So I'll say something about the word co-liberation. This came to me a few years ago. One of the things I do that Arya named is I work on these transformative programs called jams with beautiful collaborators all over the world. And I was at a Healing Our Movement Ecosystem home jam back in 2017. And I was in one of those moments where, maybe you all have been there, lying on my back, looking up at the deck, group of people, looking at the stars, feeling those cosmic downloads coming in. And sometimes those downloads come in and they just tell me things like, oh, we're all here for love, healing, and connection. Every single one of us, that's what we're here for. Just got to figure out the unique flavor of that one. What's that love, healing, and connection? So I get these downloads and the downloads are coming, and someone who I was sitting there with said to me, why don't you like the word ally? You said you didn't like the word ally today. And I was like, oh yeah, I don't like the word ally. I'm like, why don't I like the word ally? Oh yeah, because it feels one-sided to me. It feels like one person's there doing something for somebody else. But what I know is like, we're all in this together. And I know that when I'm healing and I'm thriving and I'm transforming, it's supporting you. And when you're doing that, it's supporting me. And that actually we're bound up together. And so I'm really a bigger fan of like collaboration, compañeros, compañeras, and it's collaboration, it's co-liberation, it's like we're together, we're bound up together. And as I started reflecting on that more and more, I was like, that's what I want. That's what it takes. It's like, it's the willingness to see every single person, every single being actually I encounter as part of my liberation and me as part of theirs. And that in the slowing down to see each other, to really see each other, to really listen each other into being, that's when the magic emerges. That's when the healing takes place. And so I started thinking about that and the company that I keep. And a little while later, a few years later, I came across this cartoon. I'm going to share it with you all. I just love it so much. Can you see that? It's Big Panda and Tiny Dragon. Which is more important, asked Big Panda, the journey or the destination? The company, said Tiny Dragon. And I love that so much. The company I keep, the company. Who is my company? I heard today in a podcast that 3 out of 5 Americans say that they're lonely. And even more than that, a higher percentage say that they lack people to have meaningful companionship with, that they don't have the people in their lives that they can turn to when things are hard, that they can confide in. So who is the company that we're keeping? And how do we expand that sense of company? How do we expand that possibility of the company that we could keep? Someone once said to me, if you want to know who you'll be in 5 years, look at who you're with right now. Look at who the company is that you're keeping right now. And I see that here in this group. the company that we're keeping, the way that that can transform who we are going to be, and who we are right now. And so I started thinking about that too. And I was like, oh, where did I learn about company and keeping company? And I had to go back to my family and go back to my parents. And I think my dad is on this call, my dad and mom, maybe they're listening in. I grew up in the suburbs of Chicago, and my parents came here from India about 40, coming close to 50 years ago. And when my parents came to the suburbs of Chicago, they really realized that like they wanted me and my brother to really have a sense of Rajasthan, of the place in India that we're from. And they did something. They were my original teachers of community building. They found the families all around the Chicagoland area who were from Rajasthan. And there weren't that many, because not that many people migrated from Rajasthan to the US, but they found them. And every weekend, this group of about 15 to 20 families would get together at someone's home. Every single weekend, from as long as I can remember. And the parents would gather, and we'd share food, and they'd talk, and they'd share about their struggles and their joys and the things that were happening. And the kids would all gather, and we would be steeped in speaking Hindi and learning our culture and celebrating festivals. But even without a festival, every single weekend we'd get together, sometimes at our house, sometimes at someone else's house. And that's what I learned what community was, that there was this ripe and deep tradition of sharing with each other, sharing sorrows, sharing joys, sharing food, sharing games. My mom is an amazing poker player. So they would all be playing poker, all the parents and all the kids would be running around and shouting. And there was just this deep sense that we could be safe and we could be held. And they were all my aunties and uncles. We don't have a word for like Mr. or Mrs. It was just auntie or uncle. So everyone was an auntie and uncle. I also had this great gift of growing up in a neighborhood that was full of first generation immigrants from Taiwan and China, Pakistan, India, Korea, Haiti, Syria, the Philippines, people from all over the world. And those were my neighbors. And so bridge building, this idea of like being connected across difference, was something I was so blessed to grow up with. It was just so normal. I would walk across the street to my Thai friend's house, and there would be Buddhist monks visiting with her, and I would get to experience that and see that. Or I'd get to hang out with one of my best friends who's from Taiwan and her family, and hear their language and their culture and experience that. Go to my Filipinos friends' cotillions and get to just experience what their life was like and feel so, so deeply connected to that. And I started to recognize that that was in such sharp contrast to the education I was getting. The schooling that I was getting was so focused on separation and being the best and competition. And I see some nodding heads, the individualism. Yeah. But what I was learning in my family life and in my community life and my neighborhood was that we all have a gift to give. We all have something that we can share together. And that by sharing it, we get stronger together. We get wiser together. We get more secure. And we get to thrive. We get to shine together. And so this sort of like, these different worlds, this different possibilities, I was getting really steeped in that. And I also had this great gift of getting to travel to India as a kid. And really embrace the multiplicity of truths, the multiplicity of realities. I feel so blessed to come from a spiritual tradition, the Jain tradition. Some of you may know it. It's a 4,000-year-old spiritual tradition. And it's one of the core and the first principles and values is anekantavad, that there are multiple paths to truth. There is no one truth. And each of us is seeking truth and being truth in our lives. And there are multiple paths, and therefore I can't judge. I don't know. I don't know what your path to truth is. I don't know. All I can do is be with you in your path as you are with me in mine. And that by being with our paths together, we have this possibility of healing one another, of liberating together, of transforming together. And so that's what I was learning. And even though it was in such contrast to what I was being schooled in, I think my greater wisdom, my greater education was coming from my family and from these cultural elements and from this neighborhood of incredible diversity. And so to start to just see the world and see each person as having a gift and having something and being something just by being. They didn't have to do anything. They didn't have to earn their value or their worth. They just were. They had it. And that's something I've tried to carry with me into this work as well. Which brings me a little bit towards conflict. And I want to make a proposition here that conflict is neutral. That conflict is the meeting point of differences. And that every conflict, when I meet that conflict is a chance to either have a breakdown or a breakthrough. And every moment I can be building a wall or I could be building a bridge. And the more bridges I'm building, the more chance that my liberation and your liberation, we're going to get freer and freer together. But that takes a lot of unlearning and that takes a lot of shifting, because I know I was taught like conflict is a problem. Conflict is something to be avoided. Let's sweep it under the rug, or it's like an explosion. It's not easy. We don't know how to work through these things. So we explode and then we sweep it under the rug. And what ends up happening is there's a cage that I'm getting trapped in, and so is the other person or other people. And that cage and those walls can get thicker and deeper and wider. And so I started to see like conflict as a portal. Conflict is a portal to healing. Conflict is a portal to being. Conflict is a way I can know myself more and is a way I can know you more. And my wonderful partner here, Austin, said to me as we were starting to explore conflicts in our relationship, he said, every conflict is a chance for me to learn you more. Every conflict is a chance for me to learn you more. We're listening each other into being. And so that was just reinforced with me also with a talk that another beloved Thrive member, Kazu Haga, who shared once with me that conflict is the spirit of the relationship asking itself to deepen, which is a quote that comes from Maladoma Somé, who's a West African elder. But conflict is the spirit of the relationship asking itself to deepen. That for me was also profound. Here it is. There's a chance to deepen. There's a spiritual component to conflict. Can I meet my conflicts as a spiritual opportunity? So all of that got me thinking and got me working, and has, been part of my work and my transformation for so many years. And a part of what I also wanted to share in our time together was, what are the processes that help us meet conflict this way? What are the processes that help us enable a transformation towards co-liberation, towards our healing being bound up together? And I want to share a few of those with you as both tools and practices you can take forward, as well as, places that we can continue to dialogue in just a little bit here. So I'm going to offer a few of those here. And I have some lovely visuals that I think will help to make these even more useful. So the first thing I want to talk about is a container, and building a container to have conflict in, which is maybe some of the hardest work, because I always want to kind of like get there, right there. And if I don't step back and have a container, like a container that'll, I need a container to hold my water, and that's different than the container that holds my rose water, which is a spirit, there are different containers for different purposes. And I need a container to work with the conflicts that I'm in. And so when I think about conflict, I think about the container first. And so the first thing I want to offer to you is there's the 3 I's principle for that container. There's the I of the invitation, there's the I of the intentions, and then there's the I of the I language, speaking from the I. And every conflict that I've been in that has had that opportunity to lead to transformation has meant working with these principles. And so the first one, the invitation, maybe the most important one, Timing is like 90% of working through a conflict is the timing. And so I have to give an invitation. I invite you to do this. I want to work on this together. I name it, I share it. And then maybe the hardest part, waiting for someone to answer that invitation, waiting for someone to say, yeah, I want to be part of that too. And so many times I know I want to just get there. I want to be in that conflict and transform it, but I'm not there. I can't do it unless that invitation is given and that invitation is responded to. And so I want to invite you to think about that. Where are the invitations that you could be making in your life for building bridges or for restoring or restoring through conflict? It doesn't mean that you're ready to make every single invitation that you possibly could, but just maybe noticing, are there invitations out there that you could be putting out and waiting for them to come and get that answer to? And then the second I there, the intentions. And it took me a long time to learn that intentions are different than expectations. That my intention is what I intend to, how I want to be, how I intend to show up. It's my North Star. It's what guides me in that time. And the other person or people involved in that situation, they have intentions too. And when we name those and make those visible, we start to move into the realm of like a shared understanding instead of expectations, which are often invisible. They're not agreed to. We don't know what the other person is expecting or what I'm expecting. I haven't named it. And then that's often where conflict can foment and get worse. So shifting from expectations to intentions and really thinking, okay, what's my intention here? And do I have space and can I make space for all the intentions that might be here, which could be to listen, to learn. It could be to be honest. It could be to share my truth. It could be to really expand my perspectives. What's my intention? And then that third I, super important, that I, speaking from the I language, that I, where am I in it? Am I here with it? Am I willing to be vulnerable? Am I willing to be humble? That I is what lets me do that. It's that shift from the you out there to what's going on inside of me. It's bringing myself forward. It's also that I that lets me see you more, because when we're sharing in that I, each of us and our gift and our glory and our grace becomes more visible. And so am I willing to really be with my own I, the truth of mine, and also be with the other person's I, their truth, all of the different truths that could be there. And the more eyes that we can bring in, the more we start to have a genuine we. And so I always want to look around too, like which eyes are missing here? Who are we not seeing? You know, I think about the ICU, the intensive care unit. It's also the I see you. I'm willing to see you. So that I, bringing that I in. And these are all really crucial elements of the container that I'm building, along with some agreements. Agreements are so helpful in co-creating a container in which conflict can really come through and be held and heard. And here's just one set of agreements, and the Thrive agreements are there. But I'm just offering these. These are agreements that I use. I'm welcome to share all of these with you all. Just agreements, how to be together, listening in deep ways, one mic at a time, one person speaking, the I language, the confidentiality, and really honoring each other and ourselves. And I notice that these pieces are so crucial to build a container in which conflict can transform, in which our co-liberation can happen together. And so I really invite you to think about that too, when you're trying to go towards bridge building or towards conflict transformation, towards that co-liberation. Do you have a set of agreements that you're working with? Are they really agreed to? Do the people there agree with that, with you around those? Or are there other agreements that people need to show up, to feel safe, to feel brave? What's possible there? A couple more pieces here I'm going to add into this as we're moving forward. And that is about our own capacities. And I was just actually right prior to this Thrive talking with a friend, and I've been working on conflict mediation all week. It's just been coming up here and there and everywhere, between sisters, between colleagues and partners, everywhere I'm going right now. And one of the things I was just talking to a friend around was our capacity to stretch and to be in our stretch zone together. And I was giving them a reminder, and this is the last tool that I want to share for our time here, or actually second to last, is this graphic here of the stretch zone and the comfort zone and the panic zone. And so these are our zones of learning and awareness. And so when I'm entering a space, where am I? Am I in my comfort zone where I'm comfortable, where I know everything, where it's all familiar to me? Which is a great place to be. It's just I can't grow and learn there. I'm really comfortable there. I just know everything there. So I have to get into that stretch zone, which by definition is going to be uncomfortable. It could be a little uncomfortable, or I could stick my neck out a lot like this giraffe. I'm willing to listen though there. I'm willing to be present there. I'm willing to speak from my eye. I'm willing to speak from my heart there. And I'm willing to listen from my heart there. Listen with my eyes, my whole body. Or am I in my panic zone? Panic zone can look like a lot of ways. It could look like this chicken, really frantic. It could look really shut down. I just know I'm not listening there. I'm in the past. I'm in the future. I'm not present. I'm also not able to speak from my heart. Maybe I'm in my use. I'm in my rationality. I'm in my logic. I'm not in a place where I can really be with the people where I'm at. And when I'm in that panic zone and I try to work through conflict or build bridges there, it's usually going to lead to more panic zone because I'm not present. And so how can I get into my stretch zone? How can I support that with others? And building this container and inviting that stretch zone is so, so crucial for transformation to actually happen. So here we are in this time where things are hard. My heart, like maybe many of yours, has been with my family and my people in India. It's been really hard. And I've been asking myself, how do I build this muscle? How do I be with chaos and uncertainty in a really uncertain time, a time that doesn't even look like it's necessarily going to get more certain very soon? How do I be in that stretch zone? And how do I do that? And I realized, oh, the I is by coming together in the we. It's by coming together in the webs of support. It's by leaning in and asking for that support and allowing myself to receive it, which is some of the hardest work. Really giving myself permission to fully receive that in this time and recognize that, yeah, collaboration means a willingness to ask for support and receive it also. It's the only way that I can kind of be with emergence instead of emergency. Everything can feel like a lot more emergency if I'm not able to slow down, find that stretch zone, and find my way towards containers where I can really be with people and with myself and be held and be heard and be seen. And we do that together, y'all. That's how we do it. We do it together. We do it in community. Yeah, we do it by being with one another. And so I want to kind of close today. And I've spoken a lot, but I want to just kind of close today with the possibility that, or the truth that I kind of believe that we actually have everything we need right now. Each and every one of us, whether we know it or not, we have the resources, the love, we have the gifts of our soul, we have the gifts of music and art, we have the earth. And that in bringing it together, by bringing it together and by sharing it with one another, we can get to the world we want to see. We can build it together. We can grow it together. We can get there together. Let's get free, y'all. Let's change the cycle from hurting people, and creating systems that hurt people, to healing people that are healing people, and that are creating systems that are healing people, and freeing people that are freeing people, and creating systems that are freeing people. We can do it together. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Shilpa. That was beautiful. And now we have an opportunity for some brief reflections. So are there things that people would like to say or ask of Shilpa? Say to or ask of? I want to say, Shilpa, at one point you used grace, gift, and glory. And that's hit me over the head because it's such a great lineup of awareness and of of recognition, you know, capacity and potential and that process of co-creation. So I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Annalise.
I just want to say that there's such depth and wisdom and love and compassion in everything you've said today, Shilpa. But what's even more striking for me is the presence that you bring. You absolutely embody this path and the higher possibilities for humanity. And it's such a joy to just know you. And I'm going to start crying, so I'm going to stop. Thank you.
Your tears are welcome, Manuel. Thank you.
Tears are welcome.
Some of the things that really struck me, and I want to invite people to share in the chat what resonated for you, what struck you, what questions you have. But the ways that you restore conflict. And I was taking notes and I was scrolling through the gallery and I was seeing Santos over there taking notes and I was seeing like 3 or 4 other people taking notes, you know, just like you were dropping the wisdom. But just this way of the invitation to see each person as a source of our liberation, even people who might be difficult or bring up, you know, challenging feelings or, you know, judgments or all the ways that we're human and can project our wounds in other, you know, each other. And so that restoring of ourselves from individuals to the collective, from every conflict is a chance to learn you more. Just such a beautiful invitation. And I'm curious what you think we might need to relinquish or release to in service to our collective liberation.
Oh, thank you for that, Aria. Beautiful question. Well, there's a couple of things that come to me when I think about it for myself. I really had to release and relinquish the need to be right in that, you know, to try to be right, to have the right answer, to know. And so to shift that into like, can I be curious? Can I wonder what's this person's experience like? Can I actually be with the unknowing? Again, the stretch zone, that space where I just don't know. And the more I'm with the unknown, you know, I'm constantly like, I don't know, you know what I mean? Someone and I'm like, I think I make some story and I'm like, in 10 seconds, that story falls to the ground, you know, so try not to hold on to those either, really relinquish any story and recognize that my mind is always going to want to make stories and have compassion for myself for that and have grace. And also just be like, okay, there you are, little story. I see you. I can let you go too, again and again. And the other thing I want to say that's really been important to me is to recognize that I'm going to hurt. I'm going to feel hurt and I'm going to cause hurt. Not because I mean to. I don't think there are many of us that mean to cause hurt or want to, you know, and I don't think there are many of us that want to be hurt. And it's going to happen. And again, really early in my life, part of the spiritual practice I was raised in told me like, that's just going to happen. You're going to hurt and you're going to cause hurt. And all you can do is continue to name that and recognize that and ask for forgiveness and forgive yourself. And so in my spiritual tradition, every year we have a festival that just acknowledges that intentionally, unintentionally, knowingly, unknowingly, consciously or unconsciously, I am sorry if I've hurt you in my words and my thoughts and my deeds. And I recognize it. And I think that's something that is so important, because building bridges and working through conflict is risky. It's risky work. It's brave work. It's challenging work. And I'm not going to get it right always. It's not going to be perfect. Santos, you said that so beautifully. Like, we don't need to be perfect right now. We need to be here with each other. It's about making progress, being willing. And so if part of what makes me willing is recognizing that I can always ask for forgiveness, and I can always forgive myself. And I can do that again and again and again. And that's what lets me make the risks, to try to work through the conflicts, to build the bridges with the people that, maybe they don't want to build a bridge with me, but maybe they do. Maybe they do. And I won't know it unless I try. And so that's what I've kind of dedicated so much of my life to, is just trying and recognizing it's okay if I don't get it right. I can forgive. I don't need to get it right. I'm trying to be in a relationship. I don't need to be right. So yeah, those are some things that have been important to relinquish for me.
Yes. And I love the calling in the importance of our curiosity and our not knowing, and the practice of accountability also as a foundation, recognizing our humanness, our humanity in all of that. I would love to see if Johanna, you put something in the chat here of slowing down to the speed of care and the truth of now, rather than reiterating stories of lack. If you're interested or available to come off of mute, and if you want to say a word about your comment.
Oh, there's my finger. Hi, thanks y'all. I really appreciate this so much. I mean, it feels like, not only that slowing down, but I think, like continually affirming and having success in that practice of showing up maybe in a different way. Like the piece you just shared, Shilpa, about continually like recognizing those stories are coming up and maybe being curious, but also knowing that they aren't a whole truth, right? So that, yeah, I don't really know what else to say about it, but I feel really grateful to be in this dialogue.
Thank you, Johanna.
Thanks, Johanna.
Any last comments from folks before we move toward our closing?
I think I have.
I just want to say that I came across something once, I read something once, and that said that St. Francis of Assisi told his followers, preach the gospel always, if necessary, use words, and that relates to my comment earlier about the just presence, which if you're standing for love, if you're standing for just growth, and for higher possibilities, the presence of it will be experienced by others without you even necessarily saying anything. And that becomes a North Star energetically for people. So, and that's what I feel most blessed about knowing Shilpa.
Thank you, Manuel. Austin, I'm going to hand it over to you for your comment, and also if you want to take it and introduce our
Sure. Yeah, I'd be happy to. I think that the thing that I want to just lift up by way of having gotten a chance to listen to Shilpa sharing today is that this is the United States is, like, for better and for worse, often for worse, capitalistic. So we focus on gross domestic product, we focus on what we build and how much we have. And what came through listening to Shilpa today for me was really that regardless of how I am living my life, I am always building something. right? I'm building relationship. And the way that I'm building relationship, I can build bridges to other people. Maybe I need to humble myself a little bit. I mean, I've heard her say in the past, like, you know, you have the opportunity to sort of be right or to be in relationship. And those, like, if being right is the most important thing, then I'm probably not going to be in a relationship because, and so I really love that what came through for me today, listening to her speak, was just the notion that, like, if I'm always building something, what am I going to build? Am I going to build walls or am I going to build bridges? So that's just a takeaway from your talk today, love. And thank you so much. I choose bridges. And my guess is a lot of the people here are also choosing bridges. I have the opportunity to introduce a video that is coming, that was shot in the backyard, actually, by the Thrive Choir. And it is a song that is called We Are One Love. And I wrote that song with my friend Patricia Bahia. We went to a Rumi workshop and were really inspired by the same line of the same poem. And the line is, they say there is a doorway from heart to heart. But what is the use of windows and doors when there are no walls? And I was like, ooh, and turned out she was like, ooh. And so we were like, maybe we should write something from that place of ooh. And so that was the portal that pulled us into the song. And then the other piece, there's an activist and author named Leticia Nieto, who wrote, the truth is, we are one. The reality is we are not. And the tension between the truth and the reality, for me, was also a big impetus for writing this song. So coming at you now is We Are One Love, brought to you by the Thrive Choir.
Hello. Hello, we are the Thrive Choir, and we're so happy to be here. Today we're going to sing for you We Are One Love by Austin Willacy and Patricia Bahia. Enjoy.
1, 2, 3, 5.
Yay.
Yes. Oh, such a beautiful song. Thank you, Austin. Thank you, Thrive Choir. Thank you, Santos Soul. Thank you, Shilpa. Thank you, Annalise and Joshua for holding down the tech, for such a beautiful, beautiful, grounded, inspiring, connecting gathering, for this invitation for us each to get free together, knowing that is really the only way we are going to get free is in relationship with each other, because that's who we are. We are radically and deeply interconnected beings on this beautiful and miraculous planet. And let's try. We don't know what's gonna happen, but let's give it all we got. Let's be here for it. And just want to make a few announcements. This Wednesday at 5 p.m., myself, Kurt, and Mutima will be hosting a Spiral of Resilience, honoring our labor as sacred, rooted in the work that reconnects, from Joanna Macy's body of work. So please join us for that. On Saturday, May 15th, we'll be hosting a Medicine for These Times virtual concert, lifting up our artists and singers. That's at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And the first Sunday of every month, we come together here at 4. Our next gathering will be June 6th. And hopefully Joshua is sharing some links in the chat for folks to stay connected with Shilpa and with Santos. Any announcements that either of you want to make about something that's upcoming, Shilpa or Santos?
Just that we have more jams coming up. Yes, jams, if you want to come and experience an embodied practice of co-liberation, come to a Yes Jam. And we have several coming up this summer. Mostly are online still, so really accessible for folks. And inshallah, at some point we'll have some in person again too. But yeah, you can check out the website, and Joshua put that link in there. The next one that's coming up is the Wellness and Healing Justice Jam for all you practitioners who are working in the healing arts. Yeah.
It will change your life. I promise y'all. Sign up, check it out. Santos, anything coming up for you that you want to lift up?
Yeah, I was like, wellness and healing justice jam. I was like, whoa,
yes.
Wait a minute. Yeah, that's dope. Yeah, just sharing as well, centering my offerings around wellness every Saturday at 9:30, and first and third at 9:30 at Snow Park, right at Lake Merritt. Just sharing some mindful movement and Qigong, as well as first and third Sundays at the Acoma Market in East Oakland, where it's a lot of love, a lot of crafts folks, and yeah, sharing some Tai Chi there. Will be at 10 a.m. So just come through and stay healthy and happy.
Thank you, everybody.
And
thank you, all the beings.
Just one more thing to stay tuned in about. Thrive East Bay in September will be launching a 9-month curated learning and practice journey in building beloved community. So please stay tuned for that so that we can deepen together. Annalise, closing words?